So yeah, hockey's over now, huh? Any deep thoughts on now that the Avs lost to a team that beat a team that lost to a team that lost to a team? How you feeling about the Avs this season as you see the Florida Panthers skate around in back-to-back championships like we all thought the Avs were going to be doing?
Well, I do feel differently about the Avs than I do about the Nuggets and watching the two finals that are going on, right? Like, you look at that Avalanche team, you don't really know why. Like, okay, power play issues. Power play, special teams coach gets fired. But you don't really know why the Avalanche weren't capable of winning a championship this year. They were. That was a team that you could see doing it. You know? And that's why when if you said you could guarantee one of the two teams gets out of the first round, you'd probably be like, okay, but which team is it? Because you didn't really feel like the Nuggets had a fighting chance in reality.
Who had a better year, the Avs or the Nuggets this year?
I think they're pretty similar, aren't they?
Yeah, I think you put them in a bag, shake them up, and whoever came out.
Well, I would say the Nuggets had a better season.
Why?
They went further in the playoffs, and they were more competitive against a championship team. Because I think the Thunder are going to win, and the Nuggets took them to the extreme. The Avalanche gave away a 2-0 lead in Game 7 to the Stars, who did beat Winnipeg, but then lost to Edmonton, who just got schooled by Florida. I think the Nuggets had a better season. They did less, but they got more out of it. And the big change the Nuggets made, which nobody saw coming, was with the GM and coach in the final 3 games. And that made in my opinion, that made a big difference. I think the Avs, it's a rougher offseason. It's a rougher offseason, in my opinion. And I think last night kind of put a stamp on it. Like, hey, man, you couldn't get over Dallas. Never mind getting over Florida. I mean, Florida didn't look like just a little better than the Avs. They looked a lot better. I don't think the Avs were anywhere close to Florida.
Oh, listen, I'm not sure that the right team won the Stanley Cup. If you watched any of the Eastern playoff, Florida was pretty dominant. I mean,
hell yeah, they did.
And then in the finals, I mean, there was the first 4 games. The first 3 of the first 4 games were outstanding.
And so, how did they do it in back-to-back years? They had all the exhaustion, all the same stuff the Avs had when the Avs won their cup. How the hell did they just do?
They didn't lose Kadri. Well, and think about it. You lost.
They picked up Marchand late. I mean, that was their big acquisition.
But they lost Kadri and Landeskog after the Avalanche won. You had 2
and
Val. Primo, and Val for the playoffs.
Correct.
But you had 2 primo players your regular season that didn't play at all, and then Val. Now you got those 2 guys out and Val in the playoffs that first year. They haven't been whole.
So what's your excuse this year? I'm rolling with you.
Can I say
I'm
something?
rolling with you.
They're I think either tied for first. I think they're actually tied with Florida and Edmonton for the best odds to win it next year right now.
Okay.
So to be honest with you, there's no excuse. Right now, on paper, you made the trade. Now you've extended the guy. You got in the trade. You're deeper. I think we all agree with that. We think they're a deeper team than they've been in the last couple of years. So, to be honest with you, there's no excuse.
See, I personally don't see much of a difference in making it 1 extra round in terms of, like, which team had a better season. But fine. I mean, if you want to make that argument, the Nuggets went 1 round further, okay, cool. But I don't think there's even any comparison when you look at the rosters that these 2 teams have got right now. One team feels like, yeah, that looks like a championship team. The other team feels like you got to do something insane and get insanely lucky to become a championship team again. And the better team is clearly the Avalanche.
Oh, let me give you another one. What team right now, today, is set up better to win next year, the Avalanche or Nuggets?
I think that's what I was just saying. It's not even close. It's not even comparable. The Avalanche have got a far superior roster to the Nuggets.
As of June 18th, I would say the Avalanche.
So,
And the funny thing is, listen, we talked about 2 years with both teams. Both teams are going to have to contend with their own Western Conference. And both Western Conference in the NHL, in the NBA, heck, in the AFC West, even for the Broncos, they're beasts.
So, under that logic, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all, by that logic, should there be a hotter seat under Jared Bednar than he's ever had as head coach of the Avalanche?
Well, the answer is already yes. It's already a hot seat. Yeah, it was a hot seat when the season was over. He survived it. The special teams coach did not. and he is got to be one of the hottest seats in the NHL.
Schedule my trivia.
Okay. All right. Well, I agree with you on that, too. I agree with you on all those things. I think the Nuggets are a lot closer.
There's two ways, and I think Scott said this yesterday. There's two ways you get on the hot seat. You've got a terrible team. You suck. You are one of the worst teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Or you got a great team and you're underperforming. And right now, I think you could look at this Avalanche team and say you got a great team that's underperforming.
And I would say that may be the case also for the Nuggets in the regular season.
When I was watching that game last night, and I'm watching the Pacers and OKC, just to keep it real, I felt like, wow, I think the Nuggets are a lot closer to winning a championship than the Avs right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could not disagree more firmly.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking.
Like on a confidence scale with these two teams out of 10, I'm at like a 6.5 for the Nuggets. Avalanche, I don't know, 8.
See, and I'm with you. I look at the finals, and I look at the Nuggets. I said there's not a whole lot separates the Nuggets from those two teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, add
with
a
the
piece here or there.
starters.
Well, you got to play the starters.
Nature of basketball.
But I look at the Avalanche. I watched part of the Florida game last night, and I'm like, I'll be honest with you, they ain't close to Florida.
They ain't close to Florida.
They ain't close to Florida.
No.
And if you go back to game.
But talent-wise, is that true? I don't think that's true talent-wise. Maybe that's true just cohesion. Maybe that's true about the way they play.
Matthew
but
Tkachuk,
if you want to make the argument about talent, Colorado Avalanche just had 4 dudes named to Olympic rosters.
I understand that, but I'm watching style of play and how they perform and the toughness and the intensity, and I don't feel the Avs match what I watched last night.
And Matthew Tkachuk made a comment. He was taking a dig at the Oilers, but what he said was basically, we're a team they're not. You know, they're really talented individuals, but nobody can match us as a team. And Marchand, who they all hated, of course, Boston, Florida, they hated each other for a long time. But he comes down there and he fits in like a glove, of course. You know, he's one of those guys. And that's a key addition. He's an addition that worked out for them. Did the additions for the Avs really work out for them?
I'm not sure
Did
Florida
they?
wins
Well, the
it again
goalies worked
without
out.
Marchand.
The goalies worked out for sure.
The goalies, though, you realize the goalies were a change early in the season.
I guess they're telling us Brock Nelson worked out because they brought him back.
Yeah.
So, yes. I think so.
Yeah, there's just something a little bit off, unfortunately.
Well, clearly you're right on that. I'm not even debating that. I'm just looking at it purely from a talent perspective. That roster is freaking loaded.
Well, let me ask you this. Did you feel the Nuggets underperformed in the regular season last year?
Absolutely.
Would you say they underperformed in the postseason?
No.
See, I wouldn't either. Avs, did they underperform the regular season? They had a lot more turnover.
They were a roller coaster. I'll say at the end of the day, no, because they were kind of locked into their playoff spot for the last 3 weeks of the season, and there's just not a lot you could have done. So I guess I'll say no.
But did they underperform in the postseason?
100%. After they won how they won early, what was it, game
1?
No, it wasn't game 1. They did win game 1. I think it was game 3.
Should have won game 2 and lost in overtime.
I think it was game 3 where they won 4-0 at home, and they were just so much better than the Stars. I mean, so much better than them. It was like, okay, we'll take care of this. And, hey, the Mikko deal was a good deal, and we did improve ourselves at goalie. We're up 2-1. This is over, right? And then just it all away. And, I mean, it is embarrassing, in all honesty, guys. Third period, you're up 2-0, man. Somehow you figured out how to get through 2 periods, and you're winning 2-0, and you give that game away like you did? Come on. And Mikko gets a hat trick? You want to put some salt in the wound? Something's missing. And the power play was terrible. It was terrible. It was lousy.
In the playoffs. It was
it was terrible in the playoffs. Yes.
It was not lousy in the regular season.
It was not. It was lousy in the playoffs. And then I'm looking at Florida, and they're at the elbow room, and, the cup is all you see how banged up the cup already is? It's got a chip on the cup. The base of it's already dented up. It is a riot. They take such good care of that thing. And then when it's won, it's just like, whatever. We'll fix it later. They were pouring beer. The Elbow Room has a deck. They were pouring beer in the cup and just dumping the beer off the side to the fans underneath, who had a smaller cup underneath.
Nice.
The celebrations are, and they didn't shut it down, man. So, hey, good for Florida, right? Good for Florida. They did it. And good for Tampa. They've done it. Now Florida's done it, and Canada can't do it. And all I'm left is wondering how the Avs are going to get back there. That's all.
It is kind of comical. Canada can't get it done, but Florida can.
It's unbelievable.
Florida can get it done, but Canada can't.
I mean, they're all Canadians on the team for the most part, but, you know. Well, Matthew Tkachuk's American. You know, there's that. How great is it for those guys, though, when you think about it? We get to play hockey. We get to be on a championship team. We have no state tax, and we get to live in Florida, as opposed to, you know.
And they'll keep the bars open for us all night
you know
long,
what I'm saying?
going into the morning.
Like, hey, I get it. The fan base may be fair-weathered at times, but their fan base was awesome.
All right, the Summer of Dumb?
Yeah.
No dumb question. Of course, never mind. I'm trying to think where Miami has their parade. Is it downtown, or do they do
That's a great question.
or do they do an intercoastal too? I don't remember last year.
I don't know. That'd be tricky getting across the bridges there to South Beach. They probably just do it downtown, don't you think? Which is not that awesome. I don't know. That's a great question.
Because I was thinking Tampa Bay. Because I was thinking, does the Stanley Cup get tossed like the Super Bowl trophy?
Tyler, do you remember how Tampa does their parades?
Well, I remember Tom Brady's.
They do all their parades
On the water.
On the water. In that canal, whatever thing.
Yeah.
That was pretty
But
cool.
no one tossed the Stanley Cup from boat to boat like they did the
like the Lombardi Trophy?
Lombardi Trophy.
No, they've had some championships there in Tampa in the Intercoastal or whatever it's called. Well, there you go, Florida.